I forgot my beauty mark. Sweet beats. How am I going to be beautiful if I don't have a mark? Oh, hey! Hi! It's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, even more beautiful than normal, with the Fingerdoo review of Drag Race Holland Season 1, Episode 8, the finale, finally! Everything we've been working for has all come down to this moment, and I thought I would celebrate with a fabulous outfit. A new one anyway, something a little more seasonal, because it was snowing here in Canada. I know that doesn't sound amazing to most people, but as a Canadian in Toronto, it scared the hell out of me, I'm just saying. All right, so let's get to it. I want to start off by thanking this week's tipper-doos. We have Catherine McGreechin and Susan Nicolai. They both dropped by to share some love with Ms. Do. And I also want to send a shout out to my Redbubble model of the week, Menopause Rocks. How are you, Rocks? Happy birthday. She is looking fabulous in the Kiss of the Spider-Do t-shirt, which are no longer available on my Redbubble page because they were just there until Halloween. They're now gone, but you can pick up any of the other fabulous designs by Denise Cherneau, and all the proceeds from those sales go to the Rainbow Railroad. It's a great way to help the LGBTQI community globally. So far, we have raised $169.90 for the Rainbow Railroad. $10,000 saves a whole life, and if we aren't well on our way to it, well, maybe we're helping other groups reach that 10,000 mark with our drop in the bucket. So thanks to everyone who's bought any of the products with the 4 Denise Cherneau designs there in the Rainbow Railroad section of my Redbubble page. Also, we have the Wilma lips, the masks with a nice big juicy pair of my lips smiling at the world. That way, if you don't feel like smiling during quarantine, well, you don't have to. You can let the mask do it for you. Also, we're on the verge of another lockdown here in Toronto, so I'm completely by myself today. Jorge is laying low, keeping himself clean and safe, or at least clean anyway for a change. And I don't even have a cocktail. Literally, I have been trying to finish this cup of coffee all day. I've since put an ice cube in it. It's since melted, but it's delicious. So let's get started. So I was so excited for this episode because of how awkward it was that there was no elimination last week. Even with all that gnashing of teeth for the cameras, you know there was going to be something said, and my money was on JJ to be the one to say it. And she didn't let me down. Here's to you, JJ, seriously. But she was right. She did work hard to win that challenge and make it to the finale, only to have all her hard work not send anyone home. Envy was in total agreement. Not that anyone could tell. It looked like the shock of it all was too much for her. Seriously. That was until Abby started saying that Envy and JJ were acting like she didn't deserve to be there. Well, then Envy's verbal floodgates broke. I'm so serious. She swore, she got angry, and Envy never gets angry. But Abby did have a point. Envy didn't have to call her name. There were other queens she could have thrown under the bus, but she didn't. And as her sister, it was hard for Abby to hear it. Here's what's keeping me up at night. Why the heck does Envy care? If Abby is as weak as she says she is, then what's the problem? Perhaps the fact that Abby's won all her lip syncs has become a factor. Perhaps. JJ awkwardly tried to change the subject by celebrating making top 4. But Abby was clearly not going to be getting over anything soon, so in the spirit of sisterhood, because clearly it was dead, Envy tried once again to explain to Abby why she sucked so bad. The next day in the workroom, instead of the top 4 queens being there, it was the first 3 eliminated queens, Rome, Patty Pam Pam, and Megan Schoenbrod, who clearly had no idea who else had been eliminated, although they suspected it wouldn't be Envy. And they were right, because Madame Sergine and Chelsea Boy walked in next, which had them all asking the question, who are the top 3? They guessed it was Envy, JJ, and Mama, mostly because Abby's costumes were so small and non-existent, they just couldn't see them hanging up anywhere. But before the queens could ponder the possibilities anymore, there was Fred to say hello and opened fresh wounds by asking all the eliminated queens how it felt to go home so early. Of course, they all said it was a hoot, but they also weren't too bent out of shape over it. Well, everyone but Sedergine, it seemed to me, especially after she realized that Abby made it to top 4. Seriously. And Abby was sure Sedergine wasn't the only one. After all, Abby did send 3 of the 6 eliminated queens home, whether they thought she should be in the finale or not. And then Fred dismissed the losers so he could give the queens their last challenge, but not before a generic video message from Mama Ru, who I think is starting to take on a Max Headroom vibe. Anyone else? So, the queens' finale challenge was to learn choreography for a Rupaul medley to perform on the runway, take part in the Drag Race Holland podcast with Fred and Nikki Plessen, and present their best drag on the runway, all within a couple of hours. You know, the huge. First up, choreography. And as cute as the queens think Frank is, Gerald is just as tough with the choreography. But then, it is the finale, and Gerald tried to drum that into all of them by being particularly tough this round. Seriously. Thank God the queens had the podcast with Nikki and Fred to distract them. It also distracted Nikki Plessen because this was the first time that she was seeing the queens out of drag. All in all, I enjoyed these interviews. I was afraid it was going to be another heartstring plucker, but for the most part, these queens had some powerful things to say about their journey to this moment in time. When I'm more than I thought I could be. When Abby talked about how being rejected by her biological family made her want to fight harder to be who she is today, and quite possibly why she's been able to hang on to her spot in the finale. Mama talked about gender and how freeing she finds identifying as a human being as opposed to male or female, and how she feels that those who limit themselves to their gender are the ones in prison. JJ shared how she admires people who are unapologetically themselves, which I suspect is how she dismisses being seen as a bitch by others. But if she does set up a nice exterior to keep people from getting to know her too quickly, then well done. But that ice began to melt when JJ said that the one person she'd like to call to tell them about being in the finale was her father. Well, now I feel bad for pulling down the icy JJ shade. Envy held it together as she shared that her late coming out was due to self-loathing and internal homophobia that she was constantly at odds with. Thank goodness she gave up that fight, because she doesn't look miserable. I'll tell you what. And then it was time for the runway, with Fred giving me all kinds of power shoulder hydrangea realness. Joining Fred at the judges' table was the ever-present Nikki Plessen in what I can only call a mockery of the dreaded prize dress. I don't know if I like this more because it's not that dress or less because it's proof that Klaus Iverson created a whole line. Speaking of, Klaus was there. Notice he never wears anything he's made. Just saying. Returning for her 3rd appearance judging this season, actress Sana Wallace-DeVray, and returning to show us all how to rock grommets, my favorite, Nikki Tutorials. Up first, the Rupaul Medley. I didn't hate this. I liked that all the queens wore their own look. JJ impressed me because she actually painted like a drag queen for a change. She drew her eyes out so far, she actually looked cross-eyed. And I loved her for it. What I didn't love was that long yoked cowgirl skirt that she had on. It was fighting her wig and losing. Envy was giving me all kinds of the Vivian realness, but I don't think the Vivian would have worn that wig and hoodie combo with all those dance moves to do. I'm just saying. Mama looked good, but her energy levels seemed low to me. She didn't sparkle as much as the other queens. Just saying. This was Abby's moment to shine for sure, and I thought she did a good job, although I wasn't a huge fan of her outfit. It looked great on her and offered a different silhouette from Envy and Mama, plus her dance moves kept drawing my eye, so good for Abby. Then it was time for the final runway. The final runway! But first, the eliminated queens returned to the runway to show the judges that they made big mistakes. Huge. Rome looked gorgeous, but then who doesn't when they've had time to pull together a wig like that? Just saying. Patty Pam Pam looked way younger than she did during her time on season 1, no offense. I blame that big mouth on her hip. I wish Megan Schoenbrod had worn this outfit during her stint on season 1. It was gorgeous. I was also happy to see that Madame Madness had grown her beard back. She was practically naked without it. Well, at least on Instagram. I love Center Jean's reinvention of that pig in a blender look she got eliminated in. It was stunning, and so was she. Chelsea looked good in her, what was that robot chick's name from Guardian of the Galaxy, Nebula? Is that it? No, that's what she looked like in this anyway, and I liked it. And then it was time for the runway. I have to say, I hated JJ's outfit. First off, a leotard, really? All I can say is it's a good thing that Michelle Visage wasn't there, or someone would have got hurt. Also, as much as I love a pair of wings, I did not love these. They kind of looked like two comforters hanging off her shoulders. And as nice as that wig was, it was boring, no offense, especially that color. Any other wig color would have been better as long as it broke up the monotony of this monochromatic palette. Seriously. Then it was time for my favorite part. Fred whipped out a picture of young JJ and asked what advice she'd give her younger self. JJ's answer? Believe in yourself and be patient with others. She should take some of that advice herself. Miss Abby Omg was next, and OMG indeed. This is what I'm talking about when they say best drag. This is the most elegant thing Abby owns, and I'm so glad she saved it for the finale. The headpiece, the corset, it's the most clothing she's had on all season. And what advice did she give her younger self? To be patient. She may not have people in her family that believe in her, but she will find them. Envy Peru pulled out all the stops for her final runway as well, but I wish she hadn't ditched the feathered wrap because that corset and leggings looked a little simple. Mind you, it was all attached to that gorgeous face, so it wasn't all bad, I'm just saying. And the advice she gave her younger self was to follow her heart and don't be scared to be yourself. Mama Queen was last, and I wish that was because she was the best. She wasn't, no offense. But there were too many of the wrong feathers in the wrong places. She looked like a drag muppet. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just wish there was a reveal of a better outfit. Seriously. And what advice did Mama give her younger self? That she was destined to change the world. She's not here to participate in what is. She's here to create what will be. So follow your intuition. Well, now I feel bad for hating her outfit. And then it was time for the judges' critiques. JJ was first, and I love Nikki Tutorials for saying it looked old. And it was. JJ went off on a tirade about how it was designed by this person for that ball. It was the first couture she bought, and she wears it in all her shows, which was nice to hear, but it didn't make the outfit look better, I'm just saying. Abby was next. Everyone seemed impressed with Abby's growth throughout the competition and how elegant her runway was, but Sane wished she'd worn a necklace. It's good to want things. Of course, everyone loved Envy Peru, but I love Nikki Tutorials more for pointing out how awkward her wig was under that hoodie. But that didn't stop Envy from bringing a breath of fresh air in this competition, even if the other Nikki pointed out the mistakes during her performance. Picky. All the judges were impressed with Mama Queen's message to her younger self, but Fred didn't think her runway was very pretty. Thank God, I thought I was the only one. Not that that mattered to Fred. He still wanted Mama Queen to be his mama. Not like that. And then, after much deliberation, it was time for the judges to announce the winner, but not before dismissing the three queens before her. The first queen to go was Abby Omg, who said she'd learned more about drag in 1 month than she had in 5 years. I believe that. The next queen to be dismissed was Mama Queen. No surprise there, much to JJ's relief. But not before Fred got a little emotional, telling Mama that every daughter she takes under her wing would be beyond happy to have her as a drag mother. Hell, even I got choked up there for a second. And then there were two. Fred gave JJ and Envy a moment to sprinkle some well-deserved love on each other. You could see that these queens were fans of each other before the competition, which obviously made sharing this moment a little more poignant for both of them. And then Fred announced that there would be one more lip sync, this time for the crown. This was a fairly safe lip sync for the finale, even with Lady Gaga's Born This Way. I wish JJ had ditched the wings. Not that they impeded her, I just thought she was getting lost in them. As for Envy, obviously she's not a dancer, but she looked absolutely gorgeous nonetheless. And then it was time. The reason we all held out for 8 weeks. The crown went to dun-dun-dun-dun, Envy Peru. Was there any doubt? I'll bet Rue didn't even bother recording congratulation messages for the other queens. Well, okay, maybe one for Jackie Janae, but I'm sure that's because it's in her contract. All in all, I like this first season of Drag Race Holland. I'm glad it wasn't longer, no offense, but I do hope they have a second season. Hopefully with a better budget and a way better grand prize. Seriously. Speaking of, has Envy posted any pics of herself in that dress? Actually, you know what? I saw something on Reddit that she picked up the dress. It was in a box. Could have been a body. We don't know what was there. And what about that 10-page spread in Dutch Cosmo? Well, on the Dutch Cosmo website, they've actually announced that Envy Peru is their cover girl next month. So we'll have that to look forward to. What about you? I know a lot of you haven't been bothered to watch the series because you've been getting what you need from me. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Are you happy that Envy won? Were you rooting for JJ? Or are you still seeking justice for Sergine? What was your fave moment of the season? That first challenge in the pool was fun. Save the Date was vivid, but in a good way. Oh, naked photo shoot. Ooh, that was fun. My fave looks from the season were both by Chelsea Boy. The Alien Queen and that windswept look took my breath away. I also enjoyed Sergine's wardrobe in general. I love her aesthetic and her attention to detail. If she's not actually doing the work to create those outfits herself, she is paying the right people to do it for her. I am so serious. I also wish that Nikki Tutorials had been more involved, but from what I understand, she was filming the Dutch version of The Mole, which is a reality show I've never watched, at the time. So I'm sure it was just down to scheduling and her being famous and busy. Fingerdoo's crossed, she returns for season 2 is all I'm saying. So there you go. Another series, another country. Apparently, Australia's next. And I read something the other day that Spain is starting production soon. Season 13 is being filmed right now, or they've filmed it. Either way, we have that coming in the new year, along with All-Stars 7. Don't forget the UK. They may be filming 2 seasons back to back, or else I'm a liar. I don't know which is true. As for Canada's Drag Race, they are in production for a second season. Apparently, they're looking to go into production soonish. I do believe that this was the time they went into production for season 1, so they're not off schedule too much themselves. But it looks like we've got a month or 2 off, so stay tuned to the Fingerdoo review. I have a slew, yes, I said a slew, of Get Ready With Me's. They're already filmed, I just have to edit them. I've got more episodes of That's So Wilma, as well as a few surprises coming, so make sure you stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching Drag Race Holland with me if you did. If not, thank you for checking in with me to see how it went. If you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. And if you're not, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. If you want to support me or the channel, there are links down below in the description box. Until next time, miss me. Mwah! Seriously, I got no one to talk to. I'll just talk to myself. Hey, Beast, hey. I love this makeup. I call it Fire and Ice. The icy lid and the fiery crease. I've had a fiery crease. We had snow in Toronto. I can't believe it. It's one thing to have a winter outfit. It's a whole other thing to need it. Look at those shoulders. My inspiration for this was a cross between Ben de la Creme and Alexis Carrington. I own 50% of this company, fellas.